Oh my goodness. Something interesting actually happened in Daemon's storyline. Didn't see that coming. House of the Dragon, episode 7? I think I'm keeping track of these okay. Episode 7. There's really only two aspects of this I feel like talking all that much about. Because, like, as with all these, for how long the runtime is versus how much actually goes on with them, I am kind of left going like, wait, why did it take that much time to do what it was doing? I don't want to say that I didn't like get something out of say the stuff with Alicent or the attempts of Aegon to get back on his feet and like I'm not saying there's nothing there. It's just when I try and think of what it was that ate up time, that wasn't the two main things I'm going to be talking about in a minute. Yeah, I'm kind of like, why are episodes of this show this long? Anyway, so we get a follow up on a lowborn gentleman having claimed a dragon, or the dragon claiming him is more accurate. And so we now get Rhaenyra running with that idea and putting out like a general call. If you think you've got Targaryen blood in you, get your butt over here. And the way that plays out is both interesting and predictable. Like on the looking at the whole thing overall, it's pretty interesting. Like that she's gotten to the point of desperation that she's willing to abandon all the talk of lineage, partially talked into by her. I wanted to say girlfriend, except there's literally no follow up on that. And I know why. I did hear about how like the actors in the scene, they made the decision to do that and it wasn't scripted. I still feel like it wasn't fully earned, but it really feels out of place now. It's given that there's no immediate follow up. But anyways, their scenes are still good together. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like these two. I do, but just flat out that whole thing of I forget her name, but the woman who's now advising Rhaenyra, just telling her flat out like there are so many bastards who are direct line Targaryens, and you're looking for diluted blood in noble bloodlines. You're looking in the wrong place. And her realizing the truth of that and setting the situation up where, yeah, a lot of people die. I did wonder if it was gonna be as violent as it ended up being. I did wonder if the dragon was just gonna single somebody out and it would become clear who it was without having to kill almost everybody there. They opted to kill almost everybody there. That's not a criticism. I think that's a valid way to do it. That having been said, the bit that is unsurprising is which two ended up claiming dragons. If you had been paying attention to the show at all, it was super obvious. There were only two people in that crowd who the show had bothered to introduce prior to this. So obviously it's those two. That said, I really like the distinction between the two of them. You have one who like has a certain air of nobility about him and a certain sense of pride about him. You could almost see him slotting into a noble household. Then there's the other guy who's, he's just a bar hopping tool, but he still gets a dragon. And I actually like that he's the one we follow right off, and he's like flying over King's Land, and he's just happy to be there. Just woo! And I like that. That's good. Also, the ending shot of like multiple dragons coming up behind Rhaenyra. I'm like, yeah, you better run, Aemond. That's a good ending shot, especially for a show like this. The other thing that I want to talk about, Daemon's story. I have been bitching about Daemon's story for a fair bit now because what are we doing? Why is this here? I'm not necessarily going to say that this is the point of it being there, but finally something came out of it where I can go, here we go. That I like. That's Oscar. I love Oscar. He's so good. We have had, generally when it comes to young people wielding political power in Game of Thrones, we've had people who wield it really just egregiously. Your Joffreys, your Aegon and Aemons to some degree. We've had some who seem to have a sense of things, but like also you can't help but wonder how they ended up in that situation, like with Lady Mormont, who was great back in the original show when she was around. But then we've got this interesting new thing with Oscar, who shows up and he's like, I did nothing to earn this position. My grandfather, he says grandsire, but my grandfather died and now it just falls to me. And Daemon thinks he's going to be able to bend this kid to whatever he wants. And that's like the obvious assumption. This kid doesn't know politics. He doesn't know a thing about politics. He'll just default to the man who's saying he's king. But then Oscar strolls out into that courtyard, knows what he's talking about, handles diplomacy, pushes back on Daemon just enough to get the other people of the other riverlands to respect him and therefore listen to him, but not so hard that Daemon takes it too personally to realize the value in what it is Oscar's doing, the value to him. So he is threading such a fine needle, and he nails it, especially with I say making, but basically calling out Daemon to execute his own little lackey who is doing his bidding. Oh, Oscar's great. Also, side note, am I remembering correctly that his grandsire who died was named Grover? If we could get a Bert or an Ernie in this in this family tree, I'd be real happy. But Oscar was great. I'm not going to hold my breath that we're going to get a lot more from him, but I want so much more of this guy. He's so good. And I had so much fun watching him. He was phenomenal. Oh, that was great. Other than that, this was fine. You know, it moved things along. I say it seems longer than it needed to be. That's more in hindsight. This wasn't one where I found myself checking the time as it was going. I didn't feel like I was talking to go through it, but we did get to the end. And I did find myself going, boy, doesn't seem like that should have taken as much time to do as it did. But yeah, some interesting new ways to go. And I thought there were 10 episodes. I guess next episode's the finale for the season. Well, we'll see how that goes. But, you know, some a new interesting character who I like and don't expect we're going to see a ton of, but I like him regardless, and I'm going to love him for as long as you let me have him. And yeah, pretty solid stuff all around. It was odd, I get it, but it was also odd that Rhaenyra's son, who's well aware that he is, that his father is not who it's supposed to be, got as uppity about the nobility as he did. I guess part of it is it's a challenge to the idea, well, if these other people are worthy to ride dragons, is that how low I am or something like that? I don't know. I feel like that's something that could have been explored a lot more than it was. Just had the one scene. Well. Anyways. House of the Dragon, episode 7. Did you see it? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe. They all help me out as well. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons. Robin Moore, Zumila Fulla, Goddess Elida, Trista Ashley, Oliver B., Melissa Peterson, Tarak, The Thing That Goes Going to the Anime, Jean Foray, Movie Turtle, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Linda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Fernambulax the Poodle, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperol, Dave Hall, White Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Pal Barabajoggle, Lucy Wood, Dorm Mayhew, and Mary G. Thank you for your support, and consider supporting me as well on Patreon.